this is our final tour of Europe. We go back and we play a couple of weeks in the northeast of the United States and go out to South America. And right now, the final date is South America, but we might possibly still maybe do an American tour. We haven't done a final American tour. So, but we might not. I'm not sure. Right now, we've been together 22 years. From the time I reached about 15 years, my goal was to reach 20 years. We reached 20 years, and at the 20-year mark, we had done Acid Eaters, which was an album of cover songs. I wanted to do one more studio album of Ramones songs, and we did that. There's nothing left to do. I'd rather have fans remember the Ramones for a certain level of performing, and I'd rather get out before we start to not be able to play at that level that fans have come to expect. I'm sure that the other three will continue to try to make good music, but I know that I wouldn't be able to, or neither would anybody else in the band be able to do anything that's as good as the Ramones, so rather than do something that's not as good as this, I'd rather not do anything. Were people friendly to each other? Not really. I think you felt competitive towards the other bands, or other bands felt competitive towards you. At some point within 6 months, a year after playing CBGB's, we were the biggest group in New York, and so we had the top spot. That was always good, but other bands always felt, you felt that they felt competitive towards you. We were friends with some of the bands. We were friends with Blondie, and we were always friends with Blondie, and we were always friends with probably Talking Heads, and I guess we were friendly with the Heartbreakers, Johnny Thunder's band. We always looked at them as the next best band in New York at that point. Maybe it always existed, but I think it's more so now, is that you have so many bands that right away when a band is successful, say like Nirvana or Pearl Jam, right away you have all these copies and clones of these bands that just sound exactly like them. You put the radio on in America and you just hear one band after another that sounds just like Pearl Jam or it sounds just like Nirvana, and you can't tell who's who. I mean, of course, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Soundgarden are the best of the batch, and they're better than all the other ones, but of the new stuff. But you have all these bands that sound just copying them, Sometimes I give myself the tricks. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It's okay. I mean, it's okay. It's good that we have people playing rock and roll and getting guitars and playing. I mean, it's nothing new, but it's good for rock and roll. It's good for music. We don't want to be taken over by rap music, and we have kids out there playing guitars, and that's what we always wanted when we started and started having some fame. We were hoping that kids would start buying guitars and, and play rock and roll. It's important. I wanted to go in there and try not to compromise at all. Just go in there and do the album the way I think that all the Ramones fans want to hear the album. I always try to do that, but I always have a lot of resistance from either producers, record companies, or other people in the band. But this time, found a producer who was in agreement, and more or less got the whole band to see it that way. The audience was always young kids, pretty much throughout the late 70s, throughout the 80s. It was always young kids. Young kids, they're the ones who are into wild rock and roll. They want something exciting and fast. And so, you know, you have some people that get a little bit older and they think, oh, they might still like the Ramones, but they don't go out to concerts as much and things like that. And then you have new kids that became fans in the last year or two, or 3 or 4, you know. And that's terrific.
Come on, do you remember riding in with the dog for the moment you're here? Ready up my leg for you, yeah, we say, you man, with my horizon wide on the bed, can play me up, time to take it away. Oh, yeah. Somebody
Okay, next video you're going to see is...